Good morning. It is time to praise the glue god on this, well, I would say glorious Monday morning, but it's a Monday morning. So, you know, got this. Kettenkrad. I don't know if I'm saying that properly. Probably not. Don't care. For a Tamiya kit, this is unusual. It's got stuff on the back of the box. Ooh, look at that. So I'm going to build it. This is another one where I'm hoping it should only be a one-stream build. Hello, Herbert, the only true man of glue, Erpaderp. I am that, the only true man of glue. It's like that, I think that would be ads, the real man of genius, except I'm the real man of glue. I've got my, telephoto lens back. Oh, look, you can see where the green screen isn't all that good. Which side of me is that? Will that fix that? Better light? Yep. That's how green screen works. It needs proper lighting. Okay, these instructions I don't enjoy because not only are they long and a bit obnoxious, you can't fold them. Like, the panels of the instructions don't align with the folds. That's kind of annoying. But I'll deal with it, I guess. I'm not gonna crap my pants about it just yet. Maybe later. That's disgusting, Herbert. Why are you like this? Okay. This all looks to be cargo and trailers. He wants us to build the actual Kettenkrad itself up first. And I figure, why the heck not? That's what I'm here for. It doesn't look as though the track sets are different. Though they may be. No, they wouldn't be. Who would do that to old Herbert? Maybe I will, just to be sure, keep them separate and make sure that I don't accidentally put two of the wrong wheels on the wrong thing. I don't want to press that mistake button again. Okay, we get the number 13 appear to be the external wheels. And number 6 appear to be the internal wheels. Not so much internal, but on the inside of the track set. I know what I mean. I know what I mean. Wrong side. You blithering idiot, Herbert. Hey, Spider Cat, how you doing? Knife. I need my knife. It's trying to hide, but I found it. I don't really know how much of this needs a lot of cleanup. There is a mold line down the center of these, but most of it is probably going to be a bit hidden. So I don't think I'll bother with the mold lines. Can cover them with mud if they're bad. Trekan just finished building a 15mm pre-painted MDF building. Looks good, but totally different from the one on the cover. And one part it mentioned in the instructions is missing. And I mean missing because I can see it on the frame. It was never purposed to be there. That sounds annoying. I'd be annoyed too. Which MDF structure is that? So that I can avoid it. I wasn't in the market for any, but you know. Can't even see that little nubbin, but I know it's there because the plastic is slightly discolored. Must have done a good job clipping it out. This one, not so much. A big nubbin there. Nobody likes big nubbins. Small nubbins. Or any nubbins. Micro Art Studio. I think it's a Polish company, and everything I heard about their buildings, the Rangers knew, was that they are great. I guess mistakes happen. Not everything can be perfect. Didn't lose it. Now the time of gluing is upon us. Gluing and making sure this is ready to be used. Can't tell if that's good. It probably is. Okay, and now I've... maybe I haven't messed up. These have keying. These have keying also. hair stuck to my hand. That's not unusual. Actually, it's stuck to my phone and hanging over my hand. I can't really tell the difference between these wheels. So maybe it doesn't really matter where they go. They look very similar. But I'm pretty sure the ones I put up there are for the inside. So that's where I'm going to put them. Friend bought them on a gaming table convention and got some more. Hope they are not conventional prototype versions. They could be. I guess. Does that make them special in that sort of thing? It doesn't really, does it? You would think if they were convention prototypes, they would make sure they were all complete. Why can't I put the... I had the D-shaped keying bit around the wrong way. One of these days, I'll be competent. We should probably add a bit more glue to avoid a smiting. Several liters of glue a day keeps the glue god at bay. That seems to be in. Is it in yet? Did Barnaby and you finish your extraordinary pig House of Eternal fun? Not really. It's not what we want. But just after we finished playing, we figured maybe the way with the logs is going to work. If we can build a V shape with logs with an opening in the bottom, we can probably kill the animals in there and have the meat fall through. Hopefully that works. Unfortunately, we'll have to wait until probably next weekend to try it out. But now we've got a goal, an extra goal. We've got further work to do. Important work. I'm just clicking buttons on my computer for fun. Easily distracted Herbert is difficult to not distract. We don't really need to film myself putting the second set together. I feel like the overhead is a lot better today. I've gone back to using the telephoto lens, I think it is. The first lens I had with this overhead. Stay in your slot. Eventually, we'll figure it out. Oh, piss! I blame everyone except me. The children did this. It's hard to see where the things are to align them. Just plop into the hole. Why am I having such difficulty? Just glue that, and maybe a bit more glue on the front. We have ourselves a nice pair of tracks. Nice pair. And we'll need to put the base together. Maybe you would get more views on Twitch. Guess who's streaming on both YouTube and Twitch? Nobody knows and nobody really gives a fuck. I just stream because I like it. Ideally, because I have however many thousand viewers on YouTube, more people would watch, but it's probably a lot to do with time zones and stuff. That was the correct part. Yes. I got my Stan. What the hell is a Stanley? I don't know anybody. Actually, I used to know somebody called Stanley. He was a real prick. I stream regularly. I stream Mondays and Wednesdays for modeling and have done for years. The Cup. I don't know why. It's not a Stanley. It says chill out on it. I have been streaming for a long time regularly. I just assume there is very little audience for watching some weird Australian guy glue bits of plastic together. And announcements are always on Discord. Announcing in advance seems kind of stupid because then when I announce it in advance, something comes up and I have to cancel. There's a schedule on Twitch. I've been trying to post more on Instagram, but you don't really see anybody coming over from Instagram nor TikTok. And that's fine, because they're their own different things. Herbert, that's me. I I can't get a satisfactory grip without putting my finger in the way. I don't want to lop my finger off that badly. I need them. Hey, Jan, or maybe Yan? Skalilik? I'm sorry for not being able to read your name. Welcome. I am glad people are realizing I've only been streaming on YouTube for, I don't know, a month. I appreciate people do drop by. What time is it in the Czech Republic? It's got to be like evening. How will you give zombos the finger if you don't have any finger? Well, like, I could lose like 6 fingers and still be able to do it if I lost the correct fingers. It is important to give zombos the finger. I should play some more World's End. I think I'll do that tomorrow. Excuse me. 1 AM almost exactly. I was assuming probably more like midnight, but that's probably closer to like England time. Poland, and it's 1 AM. Yeah, that is the problem. I'm not willing to be awake at like I'm often awake in the middle of the night, but like not wanting to stream. The problem is like it's 10 AM here. It's a good time for me, and I often stream on Wednesday nights in the evening for me, but that's also not a good time for international folks, really. It's very difficult to find a good time. That needs to be... No, I'm imagining things. Don't drop the parts, Herbert, you stupid fuck. Surely I'm doing it wrong. I just have to... I see. This guide goes on the outside of the part. I was trying to put it on the inside. What a blithering buffoon. So that's not too difficult, probably. Hey, the big boy, how you doing? How was the build going? I haven't done much. I had difficulty getting the wheels into their little holes. Now, I'll have no difficulty gluing the hole together. None. I should have pressed the rim shot effect button. Is it too late? It's a good fit, probably. Probably could do with a little more glue. Don't push that down. Oh, the little SOB. It's a bit weird because you can push down on that end, but you have to push up on that end. Just to nudge the bits all the way into their guide bits. And I can't see the next step, but I assume it has something to do with putting the tracks onto the hull. Bold assumption, Erpaderp. Not really. Not at all. Okay. We need also the front and rear bits. I might as well actually glue them on after. Excuse me. The tracks. I'll let the tracks bond first. These two. Had one short ride in the back of a Kettenkrad, surprisingly comfortable, aside from the fact that you're facing backwards. I'm surprised by that. I would assume it would be a kind of bumpy, rough ride, but then I've never ridden on one. I have seen one and did want to ride on it, but was not able to. They said no. They didn't actually. I just didn't, you know, didn't book or have the money for, like, the cost they were asking for a lot of the rides. That seems like it'll just drop right into place. Try not to have my thingy in the way. EZ. Maybe a little bit of... the wheels don't actually contact the hull. But if they did, adding glue in here would make a stronger bond. We probably don't need a stronger bond, but I always want a stronger bond. '35th scale Tamir crocodile. I think I built the 48th scale one. Crocodiles are cool. It seems like a perfect tank for a winter diorama. You could use the flamethrower to keep warm. That's not what they do, Herbert. Up in northern Italy is a private business that lets you drive around some armored vehicles. I really want to go there in their AMX 13. That would be rad. Go there and do it and video it and let me live vicariously through you. I really missed Tank Ride. They didn't have an AMX 13 or anything, but they did have... I think it was a Sabre. That looked like a lot of fun to ride in. I would have ridden in everything they had, but is expensive, so Centurion was the first priority. The question everyone wants to get an answer: will Herbert add the driver? And if he adds him, will the driver keep his legs? That is a good question. There's more than one figure on the sprue. There's... I think that one's the driver. And this guy, I assume, sits in the back. And there's also an upper body. Maybe it's so you can choose the upper body for another guy. Or maybe that's the driver. The top of the driver. He may never be assembled. I think it probably makes sense to build at least the driver for this sort of thing. Live stream thing so you can play pretend tank driver. I'd watch that. Seems in order. I do appreciate Tamiya kits being very easy to clean up. It's Monday morning and I'm not really in the mood for lots of mold lines and stuff. That's why this was on the list. Couldn't decide what to build. I did a coin toss between this and the Rubicon T26. That is a nub that I don't need. Not a good nub. Bad nub. Goes straight to nub hell, which is a real place. Cleaning mold lines is a Wednesday night thing. I'm going to start a new kit on Wednesday night too. I'm not quite sure what to do. I can't remember if I decided that I would do the Vespered Tiger on Wednesday nights, but I might start it then. This is the front. Just drops on there. Let's pretend to be surprised that it just drops right into place nice and easy. Hell yeah. I think next Monday I'm going to start working on the... what do you call it? The Schwimmwagen. The swimmy boy. And then after that, I'll have to think about it. But either I'll build the Vespered Tiger on Wednesday nights, or do it after the Schwimmwagen. I have never actually even heard of a wallpaper cutter. But I assume so. It's basically a scalpel. It's razor sharp. Don't cut yourself with it. Most of the time I have to use sandpaper or something to clean the edges and stuff of like the sprue gates and stuff on a kit. That doesn't, I mean, sandpaper and sanding sticks are good. I find using a knife a lot easier. Which way does this go? This way. Like this. Easy as heck. That seems right. And we can probably just drop this in over the top. FV107 Scimitar and an OT64. I'm not familiar with the OT64, but I'm pretty sure the Scimitar is what they had at Tank Ride. It's very similar to whatever variant it might be. It was a Scimitar or... Somebody got mad at me for getting it wrong, but I can't remember what it was when I did a video about Tank Ride that time. Either way, it's fast and cool looking, and I wanted to ride in it. That looks like it's out of place, but it's not. That little edge is just raised. I think it's meant to be that way. Hell yeah. It's looking pretty Kettenkrad so far. I would suggest, I mean, you don't have to buy an X-Acto one. This is one from 9 Steps Industries, but they're all pretty much the same. You can get the X-Acto number 11 blades. I don't know if you can see it. It says that there. You can find them on, like, AliExpress or something like that pretty cheap. If you buy a box of blades, because you should change them regularly, it's not too expensive to buy them, like, on AliExpress or maybe eBay. I think I got a box of 100 blades for, like, $10 Australian. So, 25 cents US. 20 cents in pounds.
Damn, son, where'd you find this?
In the bin. Might have been a Scorpion. It could have been a Scorpion. And I think the difference is the gun. It's a Scorpion or a Scimitar. And I think I built one and showed the Tank Ride one as an example, and it was the different one, and people were all like, blah, 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 blah. And then I was all like, blah, 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 blah. I did see I think AFV Club kit of that I was thinking of getting, but didn't. I hope for something else. Next time there is a sale, maybe. That is probably the most modern tank that I think is really cool. I prefer the older styles. Where is the towing hook? The towing hook is important. We've got trailers to make and thus tow. Am I even looking at the right sprue? It says W. That means no. This is the W sprue. Call it a Scorpitar or a Skimatron. Skimaton. Skimanotar. Just give it an entirely new name. The Dave. Like in that game I was playing the other night. I don't know if I figured it out on stream when I was playing that game, but I eventually worked out how to not go bankrupt in the first couple of months making the tanks. And I played it long enough to research everything to try and get to tier 2, but you can't. I think the press version of the game might be restricted. Like, not everything is there. Otherwise, I am clueless. That's normal, though, really. We reveal our newest tank, the Jeff. Everyone applauds. I imagine, like, the Jeff would be like the Homer in that episode of The Simpsons where Homer makes a car. The Homer. Or the Jeff. This probably doesn't really need to be cleaned up, but there is a sprue gate on the back there, so off it goes. Goodbye. Wait a second. There's already a hook on there. Maybe this is like a second lower hook? I don't think we need two. That's weird. Confused Herbert is confused. If you were supposed to cut it off... Oh, it does say remove in the first instruction. Which I didn't see or expect. I guess that's a mistake. Excuse me. Mistake number 42? I thought we were all up. I thought we were up to number 43. Must be wrong. 42, that's what it says. They don't even know about our next secret tank. The Craig. Okay, what I will do is some B-roll so I can be all like, oh, what an idiot, I didn't realize. This hook must be better somehow. Gotta hold it so the camera can see it. It looks like... Well, I appreciate all the VBs. They go with the sad music. This looks like the right place to cut. Nip the tip. It's hard to get a good angle there. Would have been easier to do that before gluing it all together. make sure not to glue the hook on upside down. That would be a double mistake. I don't know why we need a slightly lower hook, but I don't know anything about these things, about Kettenkrads, so who am I to speak on the issue? I'm just a simple man who likes to glue bits of plastic together. Emphasis on the simple. I think it sits on those bits there. Doesn't seem to want to sit all the way down at the rear. So, we apply pressure, and it complies to our will. Complies with our will? I don't know how to speak English. Oh no. Hope I didn't make a big mess there. Doesn't seem to have made a big mess. Don't put your fingers in glue. What? I thought you were a member of the true Kettenkradians circle. I don't know who gave you that impression, but they were lying. Kettenkardashians. That's how I sort of read it. That needs to be held for a moment. I think that's decided. Well, it looks like it's coming up a bit. I'll hold it for a bit longer. Just keep holding. What? That ought to do. And we got to put the little mud flaps on the back. And this one goes on this side. I can't tell if that keying is for these or what. The picture is up. It doesn't show the bottom where those little nubbins are. It does seem that they sit underneath the top of the hole. Man, these instructions are dumb. Who thought a vertical folding thing was a good idea? Goes like that. The fourth, the fifth. Doesn't seem like it's going to be very strong, unfortunately. The Kardashians are secretly tank enthusiasts. Well, I guess it's something for everybody, even terrible people. Thought for a second that might be a bit too long, but it's not. That's what you get for thinking, Herbert. You know you aren't good at that. I don't know if they're perfect, but they're on. They don't hit the ground probably unless you do a wheelie. So that's good. Now, I think we need to build the front, because that looks like the main body is done. I was going to say real quick, but it's almost been an hour. I am not the fastsman. A knight 2nd grade of the Vertical Instructions Secret Society of the world thinks that a vertical instructions is a good thing. Well, I'm sure that they do. Nuts to them. I have a love-hate relationship with Japanese kits. Mostly love, to be fair. I mean, yeah. To me, I have like a bunch of different instruction sets too, so it's like, you never know what you're going to get. Are you going to get these terrible vertical ones or a nice booklet? Any model brands you like more than others? Not really. I'm into like seeing what's different and what's out there. I don't really like Airfix or Revell, but that's because they're all like, well, they're not all, but they largely seem to be old kits from the 50s that haven't been, like, the tooling is from the 50s. And they changed their boxings to be like, well, these ones are the classic or whatever they call them now. But, like, all the old ones are still on the shelves in the box that looks modern. I really like Tamiya's stuff, especially the 48th scale kits. And even though they kind of frustrate me when the photo etch is small, I really like Vespid kits as well. Are these what I want? Yes. You have to get rid of all the connections if you want it to come off the sprue. This is not new news to you, Herbert. Okay. Where does the headlight go on? We just slot that on later. Where is the headlight? Also, I'm missing this. I need this. That is the entire headlight. You might as well clip this off too. It's a nice looking, I assume it's a cover for the seaty area. Didn't try Airfix. I mean, there's bound to be. You just have to do research before buying kits, I guess. And that's not something old impulse buying Herbert really likes to do. I do know that the Cromwell, I think it comes in one of those sets with like paint as well. The Cromwell in 72nd scale from Airfix is pretty good. Speaking of new stuff, have you seen the new IBG 72nd Italian tanks? I have not. Maybe I shouldn't, because then I'll want to buy them. IBG do some good stuff. Some of it is a bit too fiddly, but good stuff. I have an IBG, I think it's Type 98, I'm not sure. A Japanese tank that I've been thinking about building. I've actually got quite a few IBG kits in my stash. I think I've got a Crusader as well. Bunch of trucks. Actually, I think it's up there where I'm looking at. I'm pretty sure I've got like the Scamel truck. Like a transporter truck for tanks. That might be cool to build. I just can't seem to get rid of that nubbin there. If you want to save money, wait till IBG releases a model of the newest Namibian tank. Do they have tanks? Is that why it saves money? Because it's nothing? That's probably neat enough. This bit is difficult to clean up because it's so... excuse me, that bit especially is so thin. I'm very, very sure that it will break really easy. Especially if I collided my knife into it. Or rested my finger against it. I don't want that. Needs a little bit of knife attention. That's not attention you want. Not completely right. It seems Namibia has some T-34s in stock still. Not in use. Maybe they should use them. Mold lines on my damn wheel. I am really hoping not to break that handlebar. I'm hoping I can get away with no cleanup whatsoever on it. It's still more than the average Russian armored brigades nowadays. Maybe they shouldn't use T-34s because they'll just get ruined. Those are historical artifacts and we should keep them. Okay. That looks... You know what? That looks absolutely fine the way it is, actually. There's a tiny little bit of mold line along the handlebar, but if I'm building the crew figure, his hand will probably go over that, so it'll be fine. I guess that makes me need to build the crew figure to hide a mold line. That's a good reason. This shouldn't be too difficult. Just gotta do it right and not do it wrong. I don't really keep up on that sort of thing, but it seems like, you know, using ancient tanks is not the best choice. When I'm building the crew figure, yeah, and I'm flying around painting the sky green and show my ass to the Pope. I mean, that's got to be true. That sounds like something you would do. Showing your ass to the Pope, you can't paint the sky green. Let's try to get this right in one go. Ass. Don't want to break that little thin bit. I'm worried that it might be an inevitability. Very hard to do in such a way that the camera can watch. Just drop that, that's fine. You didn't want to hold on to it. Extra glue for the glue god. Everybody loves the glue god. Hey, the Lord made my ass, so it's the ass of the Lord. Petition to change the sky's color to pink. I mean, sometimes it is pink. If you're in certain places at certain times of the day, I guess. One thing that puzzles me, how do you paint your models when they're already put together? Is this very hard? Not really. Some people aren't as experienced in painting, but I've painted like 15mm scale stuff where you can't really have it separate, like wheels and stuff. I'm sure if you started doing that right away and didn't paint things that are hard to get to in sub-assemblies, it would be really hard. I don't find it too much of a challenge. You've just got to be more careful. I do find it funny when people will comment on videos saying that I'm stupid for not leaving it apart to paint. They go to the void. Usually, it's a matter of some kits you do have to paint sub-assemblies, like the interior of a cockpit if you're going to have the windows clear. because it'll be sealed up and you can't paint it then once it's done. Most of the time, especially for tanks, I don't find it to be all that difficult. Especially in larger scales. Is that going... No! That's what we want. The little thin bit doesn't actually contact the mounting bracket, I don't think. Or maybe this tilted part is actually not in the right position. There, that's better. Kind of fiddly, but not as annoying as I was expecting. Kind of tricky to get the glue in position without putting it on my fingers. I agree, it is stupid to call somebody stupid for having like a difference on something that's, what's the word, subjective? Like building models, there's so many different ways you can do things. It's like, you do what works best for you. A large reason for not painting, while everything's together is so that I can do build videos and have things all together. It doesn't look as good at the end of the video when you've got a pile of sub-assemblies. How the heck do these fit on without being broken is the important question. Maybe you glue the large part to the rest of the model and then see about putting the handlebars on. Sometimes I have good ideas. Rare, but sometimes. It does depend on the model, as the big boy says. I would be happy to paint 35th scale tank tracks and wheels all assembled. Easy, because if you can do it in 15mm, but it does make it a whole lot easier to do it in, like, with the tracks off. Okay, so this is just goes on the front, easy. Into the slot. It'll probably stay there, especially if we put more glue. I'm gonna let that bond. Take a quick break to refill my beverage. Maybe a few of those 48th scale meant to help you out with the build. No! They remain unbuilt! I'm going to be back in a couple of minutes. I'm going to run 3 minutes of ads so that there's no pre-rolls on Twitch for people coming in. I'll be back. Never fear, I have returned. It is disgustingly humid outside of my room. Okay, and this... handlebars. These should be easy to put on. I can do this. It looks like there's a little recess there for them. That didn't work. It will eventually work. Or we will have a model of a crashed Kettenkrad that horrible Hans, the horrible driver. There's no word for driver that starts with H. Hans has crashed his little vehicle. And we can maybe model him dead on the ground. Well, that's still a bit not bonded. It's still a bit movable. I think that's right. It looks right. Just looks like there's a tiny bit of a gap at the sides there that I don't think should be there. That's fine. And the wheel is a bit tilted, though. That's probably also fine. There's white stuff on my hand. It's probably not perfect and somebody will be all butt blasted about it. But, you know, let them do them. No sauerkraut for Hans. He's gonna be really sad. Sucks to suck though, Hans. That actually fit kind of good. Didn't get it in the slot properly on the other side, though. That's a good way to fit the light on that, I think. It allows you to tilt it a bit if you want. Very easy to just slot in. And there is a roll. Nice bread roll. Don't know which way around it goes. There isn't anything to guide that. Which means you just have to sort of, yeah, set its position. Looks good. And that's the vehicle-y bit done, except for its crew. Crew doesn't count. Trailers. There are 2 trailers. That actually folds okay that way. The instructions want the non-Goliath carrying trailer first, so that's what I'm gonna do. Or at least that's what I think I'm going to do. Can it build both? Yes. We need a lot of W parts. I'm actually not even sure if this trailer looking bit is even used. Maybe it's for a different Kettenkrad kit. Also, I have forgotten a bit. What an idiot! I've forgotten the backrest for the rear seat thing. Absolute fool. 2 a.m. for the big boy. I hope you sleep well. Thank you for dropping by. A well-deserved fail saxophone noise, if I ever saw one. I mean, it's easy enough to miss in the instructions. That looks like it's part of the larger set, larger part. Not so forgivable when you look at the model. I mean, now that I'm looking at it, there's obviously something missing there. Just can't do anything. Easy enough to fix. Nobody will ever notice. I'll tell them in the video and they'll be all like, oh my god, I didn't notice. Easy. Nobody will ever know. Come on, don't be that strict to yourself. You were great in not putting crewmen in models. I mean, yeah, I'm pretty good at that. Even I'm good at something. I'm going to build the trailer. I'm going to leave the crew to last just in case I feel like ending stream. And not building them. There we got that. Hopefully, there's a way to tell these bits apart. Part 2 has a little duva in the middle there. Part 1 does not have the duva. I do appreciate that you get a load for the trailer. Okay, these go... That one goes on that side. Just like that. And there's a pair of cylinders for either side. They exist somewhere? Right there. They're shock absorbers is what they are. put them on later. Once the rectangle shape is together. This is the top of it. We'll need this. And now the joy of removing nubbins. Everybody's favorite part of the hobby. The only reason I do this hobby is to remove nubbins. That's not true, but could be. Look at all those nubbins collecting on my blade. It's like kill marks on an airplane. This might be a bit fiddly to clean up because it's so thin. It's difficult to hold without potentially breaking it. I don't think Tamiya plastic is that fragile, but I don't want to risk putting too much pressure on it. Drop it. That's what you do. I believe I can fly. I believe I can touch the sky. I also believe, almost believe, that it's ready to be put on. And all of the nubbins are gone. I feel hunger in my stomach. Any idea? You might be hungry. I would suggest eating food. It's 2 a.m. for Matthew too. Thank you for dropping by. I hope you sleep very well. Maybe because it's getting really hot in here, maybe I should start my Monday morning streams a bit earlier. I started at 9:30 today, and often I've been starting around 10, so maybe I'll starting earlier again, at least for summer. It means I have to try and wake up earlier, so I might not do it. Okay, get those right. This shouldn't be too hard. I've said that sort of thing before. And sometimes it's true and sometimes it's not. So I will follow your advice. Gonna find something to eat in the kitchen and have to leave. Thank you for dropping by, Trekan. I hope your food is delicious and nutritious. The trouble with this is there's nothing to really guide it until you get the side part on. That's a bit obnoxious. Just make sure I'm putting the right one on. That looks like I'm not. Sir, go on the model. Got me doing it wrong. I was. This is real fiddly to hold on to. That's probably about right. Would have been a bit nicer if they had like a tub for this, a single part tub. But I can see how that would be difficult to mold with these little supporty thingies on the outside. Just looking again to make sure I've got it around the right way. Hopefully from here on, it's easier to put together. Oh, feck. Those are not meant to bend and be broken off. It looks like I haven't got the... There's a gap in one side in the floor. That's probably not how it's meant to be. That is what we in the business call obnoxious. there's basically nothing of the floor that I can really grab to force it over. We're just going to have to deal with the fact that there's a gap in the bottom. It probably won't even be visible, but it probably also means the trailer is slightly wonky. We know how those Germans are with their imprecise fits. Don't you mean the Russians, Herbert? Yes. We're just gonna make do with that. Surely nobody will notice. You can barely see that there's a gap there on the overhead. It is certain... Oh, fucking glue. Stop evaporating. It's rude. It's not the worst, but you can definitely see that it's not quite right. I'm starting to wonder if maybe it's going to be way too obvious when I install the top part. I think as long as it looks good from the outside, we'll be fine. Now, is this meant to sit on top of those little raised bits? That's very fiddly. There's no recesses for them to go into. I think that is the way it's meant to be. Hopefully the glue doesn't just obliterate the little raised bits. Beck. Dropping that has probably just made all of that glue evaporate. Well, it didn't make the glue evaporate, but it's wasting time. I'm just hoping the glue will seep underneath there and bond the parts into place. Fucking dog cunt. Very hard to get it into the correct position when there's nothing to, like, guide it. I think they should have made the little nubbins on top of the trailer edges a bit bigger and little recesses on the bar thingy. Terrible. I must uncommend Tamiya for this. piss. Now I'm just kind of hoping I've got enough contact points with glue on them that it'll stay there. Well, it survived the drop. Good enough. When you look closely, you can see that it isn't really square. And that kind of annoys me. It could be worse, though. We're just going to move on and keep on moving. After all, I'm not making... Well, I'm streaming, but I'm not making a video about how to make the thing perfect. It's just how it goes together when built by an average idiot. Me being the average idiot. W12 is this bar. Probably also need the wheels for it, right? Maybe? These, I can't tell the difference, but apparently they're different. So these are the ones I want. This goes under the trailer, so it probably doesn't need super cleanup. But get rid of the big nubbins because they will impede any kind of fitting. Also, how does that hook onto the towing thing? It doesn't look like it does. I guess this isn't like a play set or like the Rubicon Kettenkrad. It's not meant to actually hook together and be pulled around. It does say to remove the little pointy bit on the back of the Kettenkrad if you want to connect it up. But it looks like the Goliath trailer doesn't have... It has a hole for the hook. I'm pretty sure both trailers get hooked up. That's why it's got this rear hook. I'm not going to... It wants you to glue it together, and I'm not going to do that. Not until after it's painted. If it's painted, I should say. Okay. Now we got to glue these nubs onto the side. I'm sure this is going to be fine. What could possibly go wrong? May need some Tweezy boys. I'm not sure if there is actually a way up, but there probably is. There is a slight lip at the top of these. That's what it looks like to me anyway. It doesn't have to be perfect because it'll be largely hidden by the wheel. It wasn't as difficult as I had imagined it would be. Can I do it with my finger? Not likely. I can just drop it into place with my finger. I don't enjoy this music. Play something actually epic. Okay. I assume the triangle-y bit, excuse me, goes with the other triangle-y bits. And looking at the instructions, that would seem to be the case. Goes together good, nice and easy. I assume it's meant to have that space at the back between the body and the thing. Maybe it goes off like that. It's almost trailer. Did I clean up both wheels? Looks like I did. Now I'm hoping these just plop on. Plop. It's a little bit of play to them, but not a lot. Difficult to hold and nudge the wheels at the same time. They look straight enough. They're on the straight and narrow. Let's hope sitting that there on its wheels doesn't put them out of alignment. Shouldn't do. It's not that heavy. Okay, now what? Now what? Now what? The instructions say to build the figure. It doesn't actually say to build it, it just has a picture of it. I'm not going to build the figure at this point in time. Because, ew, humans. Gross. I'm going to build the Goliath because that's cool. Who doesn't like an explosive tracked thing? Probably people getting exploded by it, I guess, but nuts to them. This thing. Okay. These tracks, they're not too bad, actually. I'll just get rid of the nubbins on the bottom, even though no one's going to see those, probably. Yes, das ist gut. This is another bit that's not as bad as the trailer top thingy, but still really thin and easily broken. Better than it being thick and not convincing looking, I guess, but it is a bit annoying to have to clean bits up when they're very thin. Whoops. Wait a second. These partly seem like little nubbins, like little flat spots for it to join on, so I shouldn't totally remove them. This should be real easy to build. And if it's not, I'm gonna be real indifferent, probably. Should there be a gap there? I guess so. There's nothing in there. Maybe that's just how it is. It do be that way. Praise the glue god. And there's a little keying there so that we get the tracks around the right way. Helpful. Be sure the camera sees that. And now the difficult bit is getting this on these little holders. I guess this is like probably a radio antenna. I don't know if these were actual radio control or had a cable. Feckin', stop dropping the part, you stupid shit. The glue has absolutely evaporated by now. Almost entirely. The trouble is, it's very hard to see the little spots for the mount to glue onto. Was a little bit easier than I thought it would be, but I don't think it's quite exact in the right spot. But it's good enough. Maybe it's a little damaged. Yeah, we've got a little Goliath. Who doesn't like little Goliaths? Didn't I say that earlier? I say a lot of things. And the trailer looks to be really simple. Also relatable. That's that. Two axle-y doovers, which are right there next to the wheels I was just looking at. And that's all for the trailer? Looks like that's all for the trailer. For a second there, that music sounded almost like Fallout 4 music or something. The intro, where you start the game. Okay, that looks like it needs to be cleaned up. Or does it? No, it does. That bar shows us completely rounded on the instructions. Also there, I don't know what these little bits are called, but they're annoying. Maybe they're called Trevor. Okay. These goes up the other way, Herbert. You fool. You fool. Very small guide pins. Doesn't quite seem to fit. Meant to be against, is meant to be up against that other bit. Am I doing it wrong? Quite possibly. Quite possibly. I think the pin bit's meant to go on the inside, so that was incorrect. That's the axle, not that. Well, I got there without gluing it together and having to pull it apart, so that's a bonus. You need to have this set up first, Herbert. You fool! Fool of a toque. I'm not a toque. Try to show the camera those little nubs, but probably won't see them. Yeah. Just do that and knock it all out of place, Herbert. Good job. I think it shouldn't hurt anything if I just glue the wheels right on. There's not much to press against, so you put your finger behind them and you won't break it. Very trailer. And this hooks onto the back like this. Whee! Rin-nin-nin-nin-nin. You are a child, Herbert. The song is called Mischief Managed. Very mischievous. Okay, so that's... I'll probably leave that to bond a bit before trying to put the Goliath on and maybe accidentally getting glue everywhere. It's a good idea. That is the main parts of the kit. Got some ammo boxes and grenade cases and a fuel drum. The fuel drum is Kraftstoff ass for anyone interested in probably German. Kraftstoff ass. Some Panzerfausts and a Kar98K. The question is, do I build them on stream? And do I want to build the figure? I might build the figure off stream. I do have to go and buy some food and stuff. And it seems like there is nobody chatting, so everybody's probably gone to bed or isn't awake. Who knows? Getting distracted. That's what Herberts do. I don't know if I should glue the Goliath into the trailer. So, just turn that on and see if it just sort of hangs in. It should just hang in there. Excuse me. Hang in there, little fella. Yeah, that's easy to do. That'll just stay there by itself, mostly. Mostly. I do... I don't know if I want to... I will probably, if I do build it, paint it, we'll sort of clip that and glue it together. But as it is currently, I don't really want to glue it together. That will sit like... It doesn't actually want to hook onto the trailer hook properly without cutting it down a bit. So that's a bit annoying, but that's okay. If you wanted, you could just model it with this, towing this, and as a diorama with like, why are you so interested in tipping backwards all of a sudden? You could just sort of do that and have that off to the side as a diorama. That'd be kind of neat. I'll just use that as some B-roll. So I think what I'll do, I will probably build most of the stowage, because it looks good. And it would look nice in the trailer, but maybe that's the sort of thing you paint before putting it in the trailer. That would make it easier, as we were talking about earlier. I don't know. I do want it so I can film the end video, though, so I'll probably just do that off stream. I may build the one of the figures, I guess. Maybe we can have an actual surprise at the end of the video. Does Herbert build the crew figure? Not fucking likely, but he might. stay tuned for the thrilling conclusion. That's going to be it for me for now. I will be back tomorrow night for some video games. Probably... I do kind of want to try that tank tycoon game again, but I'm pretty sure it's just going to end up the same way. So, either... Probably not anything with Barnaby, so I'll probably play either Railroader or the Zombo RP server. Let's see what I feel like at the time. I'll be back then. Thank you for watching. I'm not going to do a raid. Take care of yourselves, and I'll see you next time. Toodaloo!